guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Homeless, Guy Wants Way Too Much from a College Student. So I headed into town a while back, with my friend, and on the way to a shop, a homeless guy stops us in the middle of the street and asks us for some spare change. At the time, I only had notes on me and I didn't want to give him those. My friend says first that he didn't have any money to give him. Then the guy turns to me and I hesitate. At this point, it's too late to say that I won't give him money without it seeming like I have money to offer but won't give him it. So I say I don't have anything I can give him and he says can I maybe do cash back. Pro-life tip: if a homeless guy asks if you can maybe do cash back, ditch him, he's trying to scam you. I however forgot this rule and ended up shooting myself in the foot here. There was a shopping center right beside where we were and he said there was a supermarket in there that probably could do cash back. I reluctantly agreed and we went in. I asked him how much his shelter cost and he said it costs about €50 for a week for him. I decided that I would give him 10 so that he could stay the night and have a little left over so it would be easier to get enough for the next night. He spots a loaf of bread and asks if I can maybe get him that as well for a little sustenance. I thought it was okay to get him that as well since he made a convincing argument. We try to get cash back at the till and they say that only the customer service till at the opposite side of the shop could deal in cash back. So we migrate over and then he has the audacity to ask for €20 from me to help the shelter. I said no, I can only give €10 to him to try and set a boundary for him. At this point me and my friend are starting to get pissed because we were just meant to hang out in the town and go shopping. We get to the desk and try to get cash back only for it to not work since my card can't do cash back. At this point I was willing to give up but the homeless man says that there is an ATM towards the back of the shop. We head over there to access it and it's out of order. I reluctantly gave him a €10 note from my wallet and thought that would be it but no. This guy has the audacity to ask me to also top up his phone credit so that he could keep in touch with his twin brother. At that point I tell him no and leave him at that. I'm pissed now because he tried to ask for more from me and try and milk me for what I am worth. That ruined the mood of the rest of the day for me. I talked with my friend and my family and they say that I was in the right in this situation and that I shouldn't have even given him anything more than €5. If you are going to give to the homeless or the homeless are haggling you for money, you shouldn't give more than a coin's worth, e.g. €2 at max. Unless you are doing it for a genuinely good person, it's better to give the money to a trusted homeless charity or a homeless shelter as they know what the homeless need, more than the homeless themselves. The next story is titled, If You Want the Cat That I'm Getting Rid of You Will Have to Pay Me For It. This happened a few weeks ago but I've just discovered this community so I thought I'd post it. CB. Choosing beggar me, myself. I think that might be obvious, lol. So I was browsing an online local marketplace, Gumtree, looking in the pet section for a rabbit hutch. I was scrolling down the pet section when I saw a picture of a frail-looking black cat with the title, Need Gone ASAP Moving. I couldn't ignore this despite not looking for a cat. There have been so many horror stories about people picking up free cats from Gumtree to use as bait in dogfights. I clicked on the picture and the listing said something along the lines of 10-year-old female cat free to a good home. Moving in 5 days and can't take it with me. They had a phone number on the website so I quickly composed a text. They responded pretty much instantly and the exchange went something like this. Me. Hi, I was wondering if anybody has taken in your cat? If they haven't, I am able to provide her with a good home. CB. No, they have not and we are moving in 5 days. Blunt reply. I thought. No questions or response to me having the cat. Me. Okay. Well, I could come and get her this evening or I could wait until moving day if you wanted some more time with her. It's up to you. She will have a nice life here. I have another elderly black cat she can play with. What food is she on? CB. Come get it tonight. Inserts address. It doesn't eat cat food, we just feed it chicken and things. Me. Okay, see you around 5 p.m. if that's okay? Is she up to date with flea, worm treatment and vaccinations? CB. Yes, 5 p.m. and yes it is. Me. Okay, see you then. About 3 hours go past and I get a text from her. Bearing in mind this cat was listed as free to a good home, and the fact that cats, at least in the UK, usually don't sell unless they're a designer breed, as there are so many unwanted strays already. Kittens can make £30 to £50, but cats, nothing usually. CB, make sure you bring the correct amount of money, I don't have change. Me, the cat was listed as free to a good home. How much do you want for the cat? I wasn't looking to get another cat, to be honest. I just saw your listing and thought she was in need, so I offered her a home. CB, I want £45 because that's how much I paid for its donation fee when I adopted it in 2013. Got someone else interested that is going to pay it? Me, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking to buy a cat. I think we have our wires crossed. I was concerned about the cat not having a home because you're moving, so I offered her a place. I'm not actually looking to purchase another cat, but I was willing to give a home to one that was in need. If your cat's not in need, then it's best you give it to the other person so I can keep my eye out for animals that urgently need a home. CB doesn't reply for an hour or so, even though our text exchanges are usually instant. CB, the cat is getting put to sleep, then this in the UK means euthanized, other person changed their mind and no rescue will take it because it's age. Me, you don't need to get her put to sleep, I will have her. CB, but I get nothing and you get my cat. Me, because you said you can't take her, surely it's best she goes to a loving home rather than be killed? Plus you will have to pay to get her put to sleep, so you will be out of pocket. CB, no, I don't have to pay because the PDSA are doing it, so it is free. I've just made an appointment for tomorrow. PDSA are a UK charity that provides basically free vet care to those on government support in exchange for a donation. At this point I was getting fed up and I just decided that I would pay the money, as I was fed up with the back and forth and I didn't want her to actually euthanize the cat. Me, I have the money, so please cancel the appointment. I will be there at 5 p.m. like we agreed. CB, okay. I turn up to their home at 5 p.m. on the dot. I've brought a cat carrier with me as I'm not expecting she will come with anything. I'm greeted by a rough-looking woman in a house that smells like weed and has no carpets, just bare stained floor. The walls were yellow from nicotine and there was a punch mark in the living room door. I can hear dogs barking from the garden. Despite this, I'm polite and I'm led into the living room where the cat is asleep on the sofa. There is a cat bed in the corner which has a mother cat in feeding about 6 to 7 tiny baby kittens. I sit down to stroke her, during which I see 2 more cats stroll in the living room, one obviously heavily pregnant, although these cats seem a lot younger and healthier than the one I was taking. I thought it was odd as she said she was moving in 5 days, but there was no evidence of packing and there was several paint pots that had been tested on the wall as if they were in the process of redecorating. Anyway, I paid £50. I only had £2.20 notes and a £10, so I just gave her that. She then had the audacity to ask me if myself or anyone I knew would be interested in a kitten for £60. I said no. I scooped up the cat and got the hell out of there. I realized in the car that the cat was infested with fleas. I didn't know what to do, but I have 3 small children, so I couldn't risk a flea infestation in our house. Instead I put her in the summer house in the garden, which has a sofa, pillows, blankets etc. in, and let her spend the night in there. In the morning I took her out and have since completely fumigated it. I took her to the vet, who treated her for a number of problems including fleas, worms, severe malnutrition. She weighed half of what she should. Burn marks on her belly which the vet described as looking like they were done with a cigarette, a severe heart murmur, overbreeding. The vet said it was apparent that she had been used a significant amount of times to have kittens. The vet also told me the cat wasn't 10 and was about 17. The vet took the details of the woman who I got her from, as he said he was going to report her as he'd never seen a cat in this bad of a shape. A hefty vet's bill later and we were both home. She loves her new life here and has really come out of her shell. She loves her cat friend. I don't know how long she has left, as the heart murmur is pretty bad. The vet said it wouldn't have got to this stage if it was detected and operated on much sooner, but for now she is loving life. A happy ending to this story about a POS CB. The next story is titled "Don't Let Me Park in Front of My House?" Now you can't either. Background. My house is at the head of AT intersection. Basically, there's a street that faces my house. My family had 3 cars. 2 normal cars and an older car that was a little more beat up. Clear coat damage, not ugly but not a jewel. Our driveway held 2 cars, so old car and normal car 1 shared the driveway and normal car 2 parked on the street. One day a new neighbor knocked on our door and demanded we moved our car because it was blocking the intersection. After refusing and saying that we had been parking there for a couple of years. They called the police and they basically sided with them. We were sure it was BS, but we had a solution. New neighbors also had 3 cars. We took the old car and parked in smack in front of new neighbor's house, such that they couldn't park behind it because of a hydrant, and parking in front of the car blocked their own driveway. Of course, they asked us to move it, which we refused. They ended up parking in front of their own driveway, which would result in a car shuffle if someone had to leave, and their car wasn't out front. They eventually knocked on our door again and apologized. They had printed copy of local parking laws, basically showing that we could park in front of our house. Turns out it was a stressful moving and buying experience for them. We're cool now. The next story is titled Lying CB Ends Up Paying More Than He Bargained For. My mother-in-law was downsizing and had a decent office chair to get rid of, fully adjustable with lumbar support and all that jazz. If I'm honest, I really wanted it, but I don't have an office, study, or anywhere to put it. My desk is my dining room table. She was originally going to drop it off at a charity shop, but they couldn't take it as they don't have fire tags. In the UK, a charity shop can't take furniture with any type of upholstery on them without a safety tag on it to show it is fire retardant. So the missus suggests she list them on Facebook and try and get some money for it so Mill could either treat herself or donate the money to the charity. Now, if you were to buy one of these chairs new, it would probably cost £150-ish. It was a couple of years old but in very good condition, as it was used maybe once a month for a couple of hours. The Mill has cats and so mentioned in the listing that fact, but that the chair had been cleaned. There were photos showing the chair in pristine condition. My mother-in-law wanted to try and get £30 for the chair to get rid of it quickly. Very reasonable. Interested buyer messages my wife, who created the listing so Mill wouldn't have to deal with negotiation, and asks if they would accept £25 for one of the chairs. Mill says yes, that's fine if they could collect Rodé, so my wife passes this on and asks when will you come and collect. A time was set for collection later in the day and all was well. The chairs were at Mil's house and my wife was at our house, and so all communication was relayed between text message. About 30 minutes before they were due to show up, my wife got a message, "Can we have the chair for £20 as we have to travel a long way to pick it up?" She replied that it was clearly stated where pickup was from and that the price was £25. They said they would be there at the agreed time. They turned up at mother-in-law's house, and they must have known from my wife's profile picture that when they met the mother-in-law it wasn't who they had been negotiating with, and asked to look at the chair, sit on it, etc. With a smile on his face, he tried to hand over £13. When my mother-in-law said that the price was £25, the guy must have took a stab in the dark and said, "Your daughter said we could have it for £13 as we have traveled so far to pick it up, and it also needs to be taken to the shop for cleaning as I have a cat allergy and it's not as good as it looked in the pictures." Not one to be swindled, my Mill called my wife to check. I happened to answer the phone, and after she explained what had happened, I told my mother-in-law to tell the choosing beggar that the chair was no longer for sale and to take it back inside the house. The CB, seeing his discount chair being pushed back into the house, then offered to pay £20, saying, "£20 is all I have," and then offered the previously agreed £25 for the chair. I was still on the phone at this point and could hear what my mother-in-law was saying but not what the choosing beggar was saying. I heard her say, "As you have said, you've come a long way to pick it up. If you don't want to go home empty-handed, it was originally listed for £30. CB reluctantly paid £30 and took his new chair home, hopefully having learned a lesson about honesty and integrity during negotiations. The next story is titled I Have to Tell You Guys About the Crap My Sister Has Pulled When Trying to Get Me to Do Photo Sessions for Her. Alright, so background first. I work in digital media production, primarily for marketing purposes, non-profit sector. Please don't hate me. I also do some side work as a freelance photographer and videographer, which eventually I'd love to parlay into a career in photojournalism or, even better, working on a documentary crew, but for now, this is where I'm at. I've worked in the industry since I was a sophomore in college, and I'm nearing 2 years post-graduation, but I'm still living at home to get my student debt paid, hoping for some help with that assuming November goes well. As a result of that, I own tons of production gear. Multiple pro camera bodies, lots of lenses, a few microphones, a studio lighting rig, video gimbal, all kinds of stuff. Well, my sister has tried to get me to do photo sessions for her more than once. The first time, maybe 6 months ago, she wanted me to shoot portraits for her, including location scouting and retouching. Okay, fine, I said, and I told her I'd do it cheap because it was an assignment for one of her classes at school. Cue her going absolutely ballistic because how dare I actually charge money to do that for a family member, and how I wasn't good enough to charge for doing that kind of work anyway. Even though, you know, it's literally been my job for a little over 4 years now. And how I should be grateful she even asked me to do it at all because it was stuff to add to my portfolio. Admittedly, I'm no seasoned professional, but I think my portfolio is pretty decent for someone my age. Eventually she stormed off saying that if she knew I was going to charge for it, she'd have just asked one of her friends to do it with their phone. Anyone who's ever used even a decent standalone digital camera should get a kick out of that idea. Needless to say, that never happened. Fast forward to the present day. For some reason, my 20-year-old sister decided that what she really needed was a new car, because apparently the brand new Ford Fusion hybrid that my parents bankrolled for her after she blew up the car I now drive wasn't good enough for her. She went down to the dealership and bought herself a brand new decked-out Jeep Wrangler, and spent almost $50,000 if I remember rightly. Well, because she's apparently even more vain than I thought, she wanted me to do a photo session for Instagram with her and her new mall crawler. Seriously, it's got huge mud tires on it and winch hooks and a tow bar and all kinds of crap that I guarantee will never be used that she bought so it would look tough. We live in a suburb of Los Angeles. Honestly, I'm a car guy and I love off-roaders, so I said sure, and again I said I'd do it for cheap. Instantly, she started in again about how the opportunity to have more in my portfolio should be more than enough payment and all of the other bullcrap she tried to pull before. Well, I hatched a plan. I decided that I was going to do the shoot, but put my logo and website as a watermark in the middle of the photos I sent to her, and if she wanted them removed, she would pay me. If she threw a fit, I could just say that if she didn't think they were good enough to pay for, she probably wouldn't want to post them in the first place. Of course, I'd take the watermarks out on the versions on my website, but also make sure to lock out any downloads so she couldn't just rip them from there. All of this was supposed to happen yesterday. Well, yesterday rolled around, and she texts me at 4 p.m. saying that all she wanted was to go to the beach and take some pictures. I had told her I had some ideas that necessitated a power source for my studio lights and some other things, but apparently, in addition to doing it for free, I was supposed to only do what she wanted me to do. Then I get a call an hour later as she got out of work, with her saying that she's too lazy to go shoot with me. I had cleared my schedule for this, as I had for the previous 2 or 3 dates she'd wanted to do the shoot but flaked on as well, and telling me she just wanted to take my camera and do it herself. You know, the $5 to $6K of equipment that I literally make a living with. When the couple rounds of, "I'll be really careful," and, "I can afford to replace it anyway," didn't get through my emphatic no, she told me that she'd just tell Dad about it and that he'd make me let her use my equipment, again. My equipment that I paid for with my money and that I used to make my money. Of course, that didn't happen. She went into the garage and found our family's ancient D90 digital camera that we bought when I was maybe 10 and hasn't even been out of its bag for 5 years, and is apparently going to do it herself, despite not understanding anything about photography outside of hitting the button on her phone. Could have literally had a professional do it, with state-of-the-art gear, for pennies, comparatively speaking, but nope. Good luck with that. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.